Hi everybody, welcome back again to the video. So we're finally here at the season finale for season 2 of the Halo TV show. So let's get started. The episode opens up with Chief being interviewed by a mysterious figure where we'll get into later on, as the ending of the episode actually reveals who that character is. And it's a big one. But we'll move on from that for now. We'll come back to that. Now, let's get started, and officially, where in this image, meanwhile, it's revealed that Miranda Keyes is doing some research on this thing that they found in that research facility. Because remember, folks, that was a research facility. Now, what it's revealed to be, it's pretty bad. Full spoiler, screw it, it was the Flood. The Flood have caused an outbreak, folks. So the Flood are officially in the show. Which is kind of weird because it's not kind of the whole point of the Flood. They were stored on the Halo ring, not off the ring on this planet called Onyx. So that's definitely a different deviation from from the main Halo canon. But again, this is not canon, so take that what you will. Now for the design of it, of the Flood, I'm gonna go with saying that it's like early on, because we didn't see much of it, full on Flood at all. So, I mean, we did see some tentacles and all that during one of the scenes. So we actually could see some, but not all. So maybe it was like they were kind of going with like a little teaser of what's to come. I'm hoping that's the case because because the community has been very divided on this. So that's kind of my whole thing. So I guess we'll see what happens with season 3, assuming that there is going to be a season 3. But so moving on from that whole situation, let's continue then. So meanwhile, we actually see where Kai and the Spartan 3s are headed towards this Covenant ship to invade it and take it down from the inside, take out its crew. And also, meanwhile, while that is going on, we actually get to see another interaction between Makee and Cortana, where Cortana, telling Makee that they are the same, we see the future, and Makee agrees with. And as Makee says that, she destroys Cortana's ship, seemingly making us that's it for Cortana. She's dead. So she's dead, but we'll find out later on that's not exactly the case. I'll show you what I mean later on. Meanwhile, Chief makes his decision and decides to go save Kai and the other Spartans and help them complete their mission on the ship. Perez is injured in the process, so while Kai and other Spartans, get her evacuated, Chief actually decides to continue the mission. And as it turns out, while he leaves the ship and Kai stays behind to make sure that the ship gets, decommissioned and whatnot, Chief actually invades the ship where Makee and the Arbiter and Cortana were on, as it's headed towards the Halo Ring full stop. And as it turns out, Cortana is alive, and she took control of the ship's systems herself, and is making it go on a full collision course with the ring. And Chief is on board it, trying to save her, and Cortana tells him, "Well, we're both gonna perish, Chief." And as it turns out, that actually is not the case, where we actually get to see Chief on the Halo Ring itself, where him and Cortana have a proper little reunion, and Chief even making a little remark saying, "It's good to have you back, Cortana." Maybe getting closer to the games in terms of how Chief and Cortana's relationship will happen. Wishful thinking, but we'll kind of see what happens. But Chief asks Cortana, "Where the heck is Makee and the Arbiter at? Where do they go?" And Cortana made remarks saying, "Well, I may not know everything. I would start at that facility," and it's revealed to a foreigner facility that was nearby on the ring. And so Chief decides to head toward that. And while he's doing that, it is actually revealed where he sees an explosion in the sky, where, as it turns out, that was a result of Kai taking control of the ship and in a way that just rams it, into a whole nother ship, completely taking out both of them, leaving us to believe that she died. And later on, we actually get to see her body just drifting in space. So maybe she's like the Linda of Silver Team, like where she's like very decommissioned. She has to be essentially rescued. Maybe we'll see that in season 3, where she's put in like cryo so that she can, I guess, recover from obviously a very possibly fatal injury, because like whole big explosion like that, like no ordinary person would survive that. Like no ordinary person though. But I guess we'll see though. What to see on season 3 if she's actually dead or not. I would be kind of surprised if they did kill her off, because out of all the new, even Chief himself, she was definitely one of the more fan favorite Spartans of Silver Team, so I'd be very surprised if they killed her off. So that'd be a pretty big move. Interesting move if they did that. Again, I guess we'll see though. Meanwhile, Chief catches up to Maki and the Arbiter, and we finally get the whole big sword duel of Chief versus Arbiter. And can you guess what happens? I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dun dun dun! Chief wins! And as the Arbiter's final words, he wants Chief to execute him, and against Maki's wishes, Chief actually gives him an honorable death as the Arbiter wanted. Those were his final words. And as a result, Maki actually activates the door, opening the door to go inside the facility, and Chief follows as well. Now the big final reveal. Y'all remember at the beginning where I was saying, about Chief being talking to this mysterious figure at the beginning of the episode? As it turns out, the figure is none other than Monitor of the installation himself. Now, is it Guilty Spark? I don't know. But he's obviously, it's not the voice actor who voiced Guilty in the game. Obviously, because it would have been cool if they did, considering they did it for Cortana. But obviously, they didn't go in that direction. Now, for the design itself, it's interesting. It seems to have taken the more weird approach that Halo Infinite, how they did the design for the monitors, for Forge in Halo Infinite. So, seeming they're making it a little more weird with that. But I don't mind it, personally. I know there's some people that may find it weird, but I'm indifferent to it, if that makes sense. So that ends Season 2 of the Halo TV show. Now, what did I think of the overall season? If I were to give it on a rank of an A to an F, I would give it a solid B. I would give it a solid B. If I were to give Season 1, I would give it like a D+, basically. So, I generally liked Season 2. There was always some issues I still had with it. Like, why having Maki back at all? When it was clearly, like, she was shot in the freaking head at the end of Season 1, if you all remember. So, it was always a weird choice to have her brought back. Maybe it's because of limited budget. So, they had to bring back a character from the dead, pretty much. So, yeah, I mean, there was some other things, too. I thought Episode 5 was, like, really weak. But generally, I thought this episode was way, way better than Season 1. It's not even freaking close. Now, coming out of Season 1, I was, dreading for the show to actually come out, like, please don't renew this, but it's obviously going to happen, and coming out of Season 2, I'm much more intrigued by where this show is going. Definitely more intrigued by it. And based on how people have been reacting to Season 2, I think a lot of people want to see the show continue, and it's pretty obvious what we're heading into with Season 3, which is the events of Halo CE, or at least their version of it anyway, like a loose adaptation of it. So it's going to be very interesting to see, especially how they handle the Flood and all that, because I know people are like very mixed on it. I'm gonna wait and see with that one, honestly. So I'm not going to give them too much hate, because we didn't see much of them in terms of like full combat forms or anything like that. So I'm not too crazy on them at the moment. So I guess we'll see what happens though. But if I were to rate, again, I would give Season 2 a solid B. I'm very curious to see where it goes. Definitely much more intrigued for the show than I was going into this. And that's definitely a big improvement for me, coming off of Season 1. I think a lot of people would agree with that. So, like, I've seen people in my comment section say, yeah, this is a solid improvement over Season 1. And I would totally agree with that assessment. I said that from the get-go. Like, it was definitely a big improvement coming off of Season 1. And I am sticking to that. Whether people like my opinion or not, it doesn't matter. That's just my opinion. You could take it or leave it, And I'm open to, like, debate or whatever, about this whole thing. But enough about me, though. What did you guys think of this video, and what did you think of Season 2 of the TV show? Let me know down in the comment section below. Please, I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts were, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, have a good one.